Jonathan, and I have the profound honor of portraying Jesus in The Chosen. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you, not just for your support in watching the show, but for something just as vital to me personally, your prayers. Playing this role has been the most humbling experience of my life, and filming season 6 and the crucifixion, well, it's clear that that has been the most intense journey of my career. Every day on set, I'm reminded that we're not just making a television show, we're shepherding something sacred into the world, the most important story ever told. And knowing that people like you are lifting up this work in prayer, well, that means everything to me. So thank you for being part of the community that is lifting us all up as we portray the most important moments in human history. God bless you. After November 20th, 2025, many chosen Christians will begin to sense a deep and undeniable shift happening within them. Something that feels less like a small change and more like a divine realignment. This is not just an emotional moment or a seasonal phase, but a spiritual recalibration where God starts pulling His people into the exact path they were always meant to walk. For years, many have felt stuck between where they are and where they know they should be. Doors that once seemed permanently closed stayed shut no matter how hard they tried. Confusion clouded their decisions, delays discouraged their faith. But this new period marks the beginning of divine alignment, where everything that once felt out of order starts taking shape with purpose. Chosen Christians will begin experiencing clarity in areas that previously felt overwhelming or uncertain. Internal conflicts, overthinking, and self-doubt will begin to fade because God is aligning their inner world with His plan. It's not that every answer suddenly becomes obvious, but rather that the unnecessary noise begins to quiet, allowing God's voice to be more noticeable and familiar. This alignment will be felt in relationships, work, dreams, and spiritual routines. People who once drained their energy, emotionally or spiritually, may no longer hold the same influence or power over them. They will feel more certain about who they want to be around and who no longer aligns with their growth. Opportunities that once seemed random or insignificant will start making sense as pieces of a bigger divine design. Many will look back and realize that certain delays, disappointments, or unexpected turns were not punishments, but redirections meant to lead them exactly where they needed to go. God will show them that nothing was wasted, not even the moments that felt like failure. Chosen Christians will also feel the difference in how they make decisions. Instead of battling confusion or fear of choosing the wrong path, they'll feel a calm confidence rising inside them. God will guide them in subtle yet powerful ways, through inner peace, conviction, signs, scripture, or sudden realizations. What used to feel heavy and complicated will begin to feel lighter because the Spirit will be leading them more directly. They will begin recognizing divine timing more clearly, trusting it instead of fighting against it. A sense of now is the moment, or wait a little longer will come naturally, because their spirit will be more tuned to God's timing than their own expectations. Another part of this alignment is the restoration of things they thought were lost. Some dreams they prayed over for years will suddenly begin moving again. Plans that once felt impossible will gain direction. God will connect them with the right people, mentors, resources, and environments at the right time. What seemed random will turn out to be a divine setup. Many will be able to say, I don't know how, but God aligned everything perfectly. This shift isn't just internal. It will also reflect in external situations such as job opportunities, creative ideas, platforms for influence, or unexpected blessings that confirm they are moving in the right direction. There will also be a deeper awareness of their purpose. Chosen Christians will feel a stronger pull toward what they were born to do. The things that once felt like responsibilities will start feeling like assignments. The things that once felt like dreams will start feeling like instructions. The desire to live authentically according to God's will, rather than the expectations of others, will become more powerful. They will feel less pressure to explain their path to people who don't understand it because they know their steps are divinely ordered. This alignment will break fear in ways they haven't experienced before. Fear of failure, rejection, lack, or uncertainty will loosen its grip because they will realize that if God is aligning their steps, then nothing can truly stand in their way. They will start moving with boldness instead of hesitation, faith instead of worry, and expectation instead of doubt. Every part of their spiritual journey will start to feel more connected and meaningful. Ultimately, after November 20th, 2025, chosen Christians will step into a season where things begin shifting into place with unmistakable precision. They will understand why they endured certain battles, why they had to release certain people, and why God felt silent at times. It will become clear that everything was preparation, and everything is now aligning so they can walk confidently in the purpose God designed specifically for them. After November 20th, 2025, chosen Christians will begin experiencing a noticeable separation from distractions, false paths, and influences that have been quietly pulling them away from their calling. This shift will not happen suddenly or violently, but rather through subtle inner realizations, uncomfortable moments of truth, and divinely orchestrated changes that push them toward greater spiritual maturity. Many believers will recognize that certain environments, friendships, habits, or mindsets they once tolerated can no longer fit into the life God is preparing for them. This is not punishment, rejection, or loss. It is alignment. It is God removing anything that blocks clarity, peace, obedience, or spiritual growth. Things that once felt normal will suddenly feel heavy, draining, or spiritually distracting because their spirit is awakening to what no longer serves their purpose. This period of separation will affect relationships most noticeably. Some people who were once close may begin drifting away without conflict or explanation. Conversations may feel different. Energies may no longer match. The connection may weaken, not because of anger or resentment, but because the season of that relationship has finished. Chosen Christians will sense that they can't go where God is leading while still staying tied to what God is asking them to release. God will gently reveal the true intentions, character, or purpose of certain relationships, making it easier to let go without guilt. He will also expose hidden motives or unhealthy attachments that have been draining emotional or spiritual strength. The removal may feel surprising in the moment, but later it will become obvious that God was protecting their peace. Habits and behaviors that once seemed harmless will also become uncomfortable. Things that used to distract them, entertain them, or numb them will lose their appeal. Their spirit will become more aware of what pulls them away from prayer, peace, focus, or alignment. Even subtle distractions, like wasting time, chasing validation, overthinking, or engaging in empty conversations, will feel heavier. God will increase their sensitivity so they can recognize what delays their progress. This sensitivity is not meant to create guilt, but awareness. They will feel an internal pull to step away from what drains them and step toward what strengthens them. Many chosen Christians will also experience separation from false paths, directions they pursued based on pressure, fear, or confusion rather than divine guidance. These paths may include career decisions made for survival instead of purpose, relationships chosen for comfort instead of calling, or lifestyles that fit the expectations of others rather than God's plan. God will begin closing doors that were never meant for them, even if they tried repeatedly to force them open. What once looked promising may suddenly lose its excitement. Projects or goals they pursued out of insecurity may fall apart, not because they failed, but because God is redirecting them towards something better aligned with their true purpose. This redirection will feel like a mercy, even if it is uncomfortable at first. Spiritual distractions will also be removed. Thoughts that once caused confusion or discouragement will begin losing their power. The craving for approval, the fear of disappointing others, or the tendency to compare themselves will fade. Chosen Christians will start valuing their spiritual peace more than worldly noise. They will find it easier to step back from negativity, chaos, or situations that lower their vibration. Their discernment will sharpen, allowing them to recognize deception or manipulation quickly. Where they once felt confused, they will now feel clarity. Where they once felt pulled in multiple directions, they will begin feeling focused and grounded. This season will also reveal the difference between what is temporary and what is eternal. Some commitments, routines, or obligations that used to seem important will no longer feel meaningful because they were built on survival, tradition, or fear rather than purpose. God will highlight what truly matters and quietly remove what doesn't. Even if these changes feel unexpected, they will create space for breakthroughs, growth, and new opportunities that were being blocked by distractions. The separation will be emotional, mental, and spiritual. It may create moments of loneliness, but this loneliness is actually divine protection. It is an invitation to reset, rebuild, and reconnect with God on a deeper level. This season will teach chosen believers that not everything they lose is a loss. Sometimes the greatest blessings come disguised as departures. Sometimes peace only grows when noise is removed. And sometimes God has to close doors they would never close on their own. In this new season, chosen Christians will begin feeling lighter, clearer, and more aligned. They will understand that separation is not rejection, it is preparation. It is God clearing the path so they can walk into the future He designed for them with confidence, strength, and spiritual maturity. After November 20th, 2025, chosen Christians will begin noticing a powerful acceleration in their spiritual gifts, inner strength, and overall awareness. This won't feel like something they are forcing or trying to create. It will happen naturally, almost quietly, but unmistakably. The experiences, battles, and moments of waiting they endured in previous seasons will finally begin producing spiritual depth and maturity. What once felt difficult to understand or access will start becoming clearer. The spiritual senses, discernment, intuition, wisdom, compassion, and faith will sharpen in ways that feel sudden but are actually the result of everything they've gone through. Many will recognize an increased sensitivity to God's presence. Prayers will feel more connected, thoughts will feel more guided, and decisions will feel more purposeful. Where they used to battle confusion, they will now experience clarity. Where they used to second-guess themselves, they will begin trusting their inner voice more because it becomes aligned with God's direction. This heightened spiritual awareness will not make life perfect, but it will make navigating challenges easier. Their spirit will be more awake, and because of that, they will sense danger, deception, and distractions far earlier than before. This is not paranoia. It is discernment growing stronger. Gifts that were once dormant or underdeveloped will begin awakening. Many chosen Christians will notice new abilities or insights that surprise even them. They may feel stronger compassion toward people who are hurting or find themselves speaking words that touch others deeply. They may experience moments of sudden understanding where spiritual truths click into place effortlessly. Some will feel a stronger pull toward creative expression, encouragement, teaching, leadership, or healing, areas that reflect their divine purpose. These gifts will not be forced. They will unfold because the season is right for them to emerge. This acceleration will also affect their inner strength. People who once felt easily overwhelmed or discouraged will begin noticing that problems don't shake them the way they used to. Their resilience will grow, not because life gets easier, but because they become spiritually tougher and more grounded. Past battles that once felt unbearable will begin making sense as they realize they were training their spirit for this next phase. They will begin understanding why they had to endure certain challenges. Each one was preparing them to carry greater responsibility without breaking under pressure. Faith will also deepen. Instead of panicking in uncertain moments, chosen Christians will feel a quiet confidence rising within them. They will trust God's timing more. They will believe in their future more. They will stop settling for less than what God has promised because something inside them will refuse to return to old patterns. They will recognize that God kept them through seasons many others could not withstand. This realization alone will strengthen their confidence and conviction. Along with this internal acceleration, chosen Christians will experience a stronger urge to grow, learn, and seek truth. They will crave deeper understanding of spiritual principles and feel dissatisfied with shallow or surface-level teachings. Their hunger for God, purpose, and transformation will increase. They will begin seeking environments and people who strengthen their spirit rather than weaken it. This hunger is not random. It is fuel for a new season where their spiritual gifts will be used to uplift, inspire, and guide others. Acceleration will also impact how chosen Christians show up in the world. They will feel a new boldness rising within them. They will no longer shrink themselves to make others comfortable. They will no longer apologize for their anointing or their calling. They will speak with more authority, act with more certainty, and carry themselves with a sense of divine identity. It's not arrogance. It's spiritual maturity They will finally understand who they are and who they were created to be. Old insecurities will begin losing their grip. Patterns of fear, doubt, and self-sabotage will weaken because chosen believers will start recognizing their own worth. They will see themselves through God's lens, not through the opinions of others. They will become more confident in their decisions and less affected by external negativity. What once triggered them will no longer hold the same power because their spirit will be grounded, steady, and strengthened. Lastly, this acceleration will create a ripple effect. The more chosen Christians step into their gifts and inner strength, the more their presence will impact others without them even trying. They will naturally uplift people around them. Their words will carry more weight. Their energy will feel more healing. Their testimony will resonate more deeply. Their purpose will begin unfolding in front of them, not as a distant dream, but as a living reality. This season of acceleration is not just about receiving spiritual gifts. It's about becoming the version of themselves God always intended. It is about rising into maturity, influence, and clarity, with divine guidance leading every step forward. After November 20th, 2025, chosen Christians will begin experiencing breakthroughs that arrive after long periods of waiting, delay, and spiritual frustration. These breakthroughs will not feel random or accidental. They will feel intentional, precise, and divinely timed. Many believers who spent years praying, hoping, and laboring without seeing much progress will suddenly find themselves stepping into moments where everything starts falling into place. The season of feeling stuck, overlooked, or held back will begin shifting into a period of movement, flow, and divine momentum. What once felt like closed doors will begin opening one after another in ways they never expected. For a long time, chosen Christians may have wondered why their prayers weren't being answered, why their opportunities felt blocked, or why progress moved painfully slow. They might have questioned their purpose, doubted their calling, and felt like God had forgotten about certain promises. But what they didn't realize was that the delay was never a denial. It was preparation. God was building the strength, maturity, and capacity they needed to handle what they were asking for. This new season is when those prayers begin moving from not yet to now. The seeds they planted in faith, even when no one saw the effort, will finally begin producing visible fruit. Breakthroughs will come in different areas for different people, but they will share one common theme. They will arrive suddenly. A situation that felt impossible for years will shift within days. A door that remained shut despite every attempt will swing open with ease. Opportunities that seemed out of reach will be placed right in front of them. The pace of change will feel surprising, even overwhelming at times, because it will contrast sharply with the long seasons of slow progress. This sudden acceleration isn't luck. It's divine timing finally entering alignment. For some, the breakthrough will come in finances. Unexpected job offers, promotions, business opportunities, creative ideas, or debt relief may appear at just the right moment. Money that was delayed or lost may find its way back. Doors will open for new streams of income, stability, or progress in areas where they previously struggled. Where there was lack, there will be provision. Where there was fear, there will be confidence. God will provide opportunities that restore what was lost and create space for new growth. For others, breakthroughs will come in relationships. Long seasons of isolation, heartbreak, or disconnection will begin healing. People who were meant to leave will have already left, making room for those who bring peace, loyalty, and alignment. Chosen Christians will begin meeting people who respect their spirit, support their purpose, and help them grow into the best version of themselves. Broken relationships may reconcile, families may heal, new love may appear. Peace will return to places where there has been emotional chaos. There will also be breakthroughs in purpose and calling. Clarity will come where confusion once lived. Ideas will flow where the mind once felt blocked. Motivation will rise where exhaustion once took over. People will suddenly understand what they're meant to do and how to move toward it. The opportunities to use their talents, testimonies, and gifts will begin showing up naturally. Dreams that felt delayed will reawaken with fresh energy. Steps that once felt intimidating will become easier to take because the Spirit will be guiding them. Some breakthroughs will come in the form of healing, emotional, spiritual, or physical. Old wounds will begin closing. Long-term battles with anxiety, fear, or insecurity will start losing their grip. Chosen Christians will notice a new strength forming within them, helping them break patterns they once felt trapped in. They will feel lighter, freer, and more whole. God will restore their inner world so they can step into their next chapter with peace rather than pain. The breakthrough season will also reveal why God made them wait. Many will realize that if the blessing had come earlier, they would not have been ready. They might have mishandled the opportunity, misunderstood the responsibility, or allowed the wrong people to influence their blessing. Now, after the waiting, they have the wisdom, resilience, and discernment needed to carry what God is giving them. They will appreciate the blessing more deeply because they know what it costs to get there. This new season will teach them that timing is one of God's greatest gifts. They will understand that every delay was protection, every setback was redirection, and every waiting period was preparation for something greater. The breakthroughs after November 20th, 2025 will not only change their circumstances, they will change their confidence, their faith, and their understanding of God's faithfulness. They will finally step out of survival mode and into a life that reflects God's promises, strength, and purpose. After November 20th, 2025, chosen Christians will begin to notice a profound increase in the sense of spiritual protection and divine covering surrounding their lives. This won't be something they simply hope for. It will be something they feel, something they recognize in their daily experiences, and something that becomes increasingly evident as they move through situations that once would have overwhelmed them. The battles they faced in previous seasons, whether emotional, mental, spiritual, or relational, will begin losing their power over them. It is not that challenges will disappear, rather, the way God shields them and guides them through these challenges will become clearer and stronger. Many chosen Christians have spent years fighting battles that felt invisible to others. They've endured spiritual attacks, discouragement, heavy thoughts, betrayal, losses, and sudden setbacks that made no sense. They've walked through seasons where it felt like the enemy targeted their peace, their purpose, their relationships, and even their confidence. But this new season marks a shift where the covering of God becomes more active, more visible, more undeniable. Things that once harmed them will begin to bounce off harmlessly. Situations that would have derailed them will no longer have the same effect. They will find themselves walking through storms with a steadiness that surprises even them. One of the first signs of this increased protection will be the way God removes them from harmful environments before damage can be done. Opportunities that are not meant for them will fall apart early instead of trapping them later. Relationships that hide deception or bad intentions will begin revealing their true colors. Doors leading to spiritual danger will begin closing without explanation. This isn't rejection or loss, it is divine intervention. God will no longer allow His chosen ones to remain in places that drain their spirit or hinder their growth. They will be redirected, protected, and covered even when they don't realize it in the moment. They will also notice protection in their emotions and mental state. Where they once felt easily discouraged, they will now feel unexpectedly strengthened. Fear will lose its grip, anxiety will loosen. Negative thoughts that used to spiral into chaos will suddenly stop or weaken before taking control. This is because God is reinforcing their inner world, fortifying them from the inside out. Their mind will become clearer, their heart will become steadier, and their spirit will become calmer. This inner protection is one of the most powerful forms of covering because it influences how they respond to everything around them. Discernment will also be part of this divine protection. Chosen Christians will begin sensing danger, deception, or spiritually unhealthy people much earlier than before. They will feel a sudden discomfort, a warning, or a shift in their spirit that tells them when something is not right. This isn't paranoia or overthinking, it is God sharpening their awareness. He will help them avoid traps, manipulations, and distractions by giving them insight long before a situation can harm them. Their intuition will become stronger, and their ability to read the intentions of others will become more accurate. What once surprised them will no longer catch them off guard. This protection will extend to their future decisions as well. God will prevent them from making choices that would hurt their purpose. Plans that don't align with their calling will lose their appeal. Paths that lead to confusion or pain will feel blocked. God will reroute them in small, subtle ways. changing their schedule, shifting their desires, bringing new opportunities, or removing old ones, so they stay aligned with the destiny He prepared for them. Even when things feel inconvenient or unclear, they will look back and realize it was God shielding them from something they couldn't see. Chosen Christians will also feel protected from spiritual attacks that were once relentless. The cycles of discouragement, setback, or temptation that used to repeat will start breaking. The enemy's access to their life will shrink because they are stepping into a season of greater maturity and divine authority. Their prayers will carry more power, their faith will stand firmer, their connection to God will deepen, creating a barrier between them and spiritual attacks that once had control. This doesn't mean warfare will end, but it means the believer will walk through it with victory instead of defeat. There will also be unexpected moments where they realize God saved them from something they didn't even know was coming. A canceled meeting, a delayed trip, a sudden change in plans. A person deciding to leave their life, or a missed opportunity will later reveal itself as protection. They will come to understand that God was watching over them even when they weren't paying attention. In this new season, chosen Christians will carry a confidence that comes from knowing they are not walking alone. They will move with peace instead of fear, with faith instead of anxiety, and with strength instead of uncertainty. The divine covering over their life will become a constant reminder that God is not only guiding their steps, but guarding their path, preparing them for a future that is safer, clearer, and more aligned with His purpose for them. After November 20th, 2025, chosen Christians will begin feeling a stronger pull toward fulfilling a deeper purpose, not just for themselves, but for the people around them. This new season will awaken a calling inside them to influence, uplift, and inspire others in ways they may not have expected. They will no longer be satisfied living quietly, hiding their gifts, or keeping their breakthroughs to themselves. Something within them will shift, causing them to step into a role that impacts families, communities, and even strangers who encounter their presence. This is not about fame or recognition. It's about realizing that their journey, their struggles, and their transformation were never meant to stay private. Every battle they overcame and every lesson they learned has equipped them to help someone else rise from their own darkness. Chosen Christians will start noticing that people begin gravitating towards them for guidance, comfort, support, or wisdom. Even without trying, their words will carry weight and healing power. Their energy will feel safe. Their presence will bring peace. Many will be surprised by how effortlessly they influence others, not because they are trying to lead, but because God's light within them becomes more visible. Conversations that once felt ordinary will begin turning into moments of revelation and encouragement for the people around them. They will speak life without realizing the impact of their words. This calling will not always come through big platforms or dramatic roles. Often, it will show up in quiet ways. A conversation that shifts someone's mindset, a message that reaches someone at the perfect moment, an act of kindness that restores someone's hope. Chosen Christians will begin to understand that purpose isn't always about grand gestures. Sometimes, it is about consistency, compassion, and willingness to show up for others even when no one is watching. Their influence will come from authenticity, not performance. Many will also feel a deepened responsibility for the younger generation, for people who are struggling spiritually, or for those who feel lost and alone. They will feel compelled to share their testimony, their experiences, and their truth, not out of ego, but out of a desire to help others avoid the pain they themselves had to endure. This desire to uplift others is a sign that their purpose is being activated. Their story will become a tool. Their wounds will become wisdom. Their transformation will become a roadmap for someone else's healing. At the same time, chosen Christians will begin recognizing that God has been preparing them for leadership in various forms. Leadership doesn't always mean speaking on a stage or holding a title. It can mean leading by example, living with integrity, showing resilience in difficult times, and demonstrating faith when others would crumble. Their life will start reflecting the strength and clarity that comes from walking with God. People will naturally look to them for direction because their stability and faith will speak louder than their words. This sense of purpose will also drive them toward personal growth. They will feel called to improve themselves, not out of pressure, but out of alignment. They will want to read more, pray more, learn more, and expand their knowledge. They will feel compelled to refine their gifts, sharpen their skills, and prepare for opportunities that require maturity and readiness. This inner motivation is part of God's plan. He is shaping them into vessels capable of carrying greater influence without losing humility or spiritual grounding. As their purpose activates, chosen Christians will become more aware of their identity. They will no longer question their worth or doubt their calling. They will begin recognizing the unique qualities God placed within them and understand why they never quite fit into the world around them. The differences they once viewed as flaws will reveal themselves as strengths deliberately crafted for their mission. They will stop comparing themselves to others because they will realize their journey was specifically designed for what they are meant to do next. This season will also challenge them to let go of false humility, the mindset that convinces them they are unworthy of being used by God. They will begin stepping into opportunities with courage instead of shrinking back. Their confidence will come from knowing that their purpose is bigger than their fears. They will trust that if God is calling them to impact others, then He will also equip them with everything they need. In this period, chosen Christians will begin influencing others through authenticity, compassion, wisdom, strength, and humility. Their life will become a reflection of God's transformation, and their purpose will unfold naturally through the way they love, speak, encourage, and lead. They will understand that being chosen isn't just about being blessed. It's about being a blessing. They will walk into a future where their presence changes lives, their voice brings healing, and their journey inspires others to believe in their own transformation.